Thank you so much for being here tonight to share our experience with a major philanthropist, Jay Lieberman. And Jay, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I know you would much rather be anonymous than an object of scrutiny, but I wanted the audience to learn a little bit about you. I find you personally very charming and engaging, and I wanted them to have a view of you as well. I noticed that you went to military school as a young man. How was that?
A friend of mine was going, and at that time my mother, I guess, was able to afford one of us, and my brother refused it. And I decided that I would try it. It was at a time that I thought wanted to get out of New York. And so I chose that military school. It was very good for me.
Was it? What was great about it?
It made me much more independent, not reliant. It was an all-boys school, and at times it was tough. But it was enjoyable, and I did very well there.
Tell me about Mr. Derfner, of whom you speak so warmly. Was he a partner of yours?
Yes, we were partners. He was my senior partner. We've been together for well over 40 years. He started with his father in the real estate business, and I guess over the years, because of the fact that Uncle Sam was taking so much money as each generation left us, we sat down and said, we shouldn't let this happen. There's too much waste in the government. Let's try to make up a plan so that we can control the funds after we're gone, some way. So we started the foundation way back in 1992.
Really? I thought it was very recent. That's
no, we actually funded it in preparation of a future full funding of the foundation.
I see.
We gave small amounts of money in the beginning, but the real funding was going to be upon each person's death.
I love your mission statement. It was pretty straightforward, which was, and I quote, to do all the good that was possible. And I think you certainly have covered the field. What are your primary interests? What are your goals under that rubric?
Well, three primarily: medical, children, and the elderly.
Right. Well, your wife, Penny, has been devoted in her career to children who are underserved and trivialized, right? Isn't that right? Because she was the spark that brought you to the foundation, isn't that so?
100%. She was your patient.
Yes.
And when you discussed your work, gender-specific medicine, she came to me and said, Jay, this is something really is fascinating. We should get involved in this. And that's how it started.
You're very interested in Mount Sinai as well. And as I look at your list of amazing things, I think you've given a whole surgical wing to Mount Sinai, haven't you, Jay?
We have the Derfner Ambulatory Surgical Center in Mount Sinai.
I notice you don't add your own name to any of this. It's all the Derfner.
In most cases, I don't. I think they insisted on putting a separate platform. Thank you, Jay.
I would think so. What's Engineering World Health? What's that about?
Engineering World Health is an organization that takes engineering students and sends them throughout the world on summer work to various medical facilities in third world countries that have equipment like X-ray machines and MRI machines and various other smaller machines that are sitting in the corner and not operating because they don't have the technological ability to repair them. So these engineering students are sent out to try to assist in making use of all that equipment that's sitting on the site, collecting dust.
You did some work in Israel, some philanthropy there?
Yes. There is an organization called the Ghetto Fighters Museum, which is the oldest museum in Israel, and it's an educational center for the Holocaust, for children specifically. And it's different than the Holocaust Museum, which is really for the dead.
Right.
And the Ghetto Fighters Museum is really for the living.
Jay, when you have a foundation with an enormous nut, so to speak, do you have a lot of counselors to help you, or do you manage to...
Actually, I do most of the work myself.
I would have said...
I don't need a lot of staff. It's not a matter of creating expenses. I do have one person that helps me from one of my wealth management firms, who was terrific. I couldn't do without her. I mean, because technologically, I'm not good. But it's a big job. It's, you just don't, it's easy to write a check, but it's doing the research as to what writing a check for, what they're going to use it for. Are they doing the right thing? It's a 501c3.
You've had such a rich and generous life, and at your age and mine, I think the review of what you've accomplished.
What do you mean your age and mine?
One starts to review whether you've made a contribution that you think is worthy of what you had hoped. What do you feel looking back?
I feel that I have. It's never enough. I think that there's a lot more to do going forward. And I hope there are many more years left to continue doing what I'm doing today. It's up to him up there as to how long I'll be able to do this.
Thank you very much for collaborating with us on this little insight into your life and your principles and your efforts to do, as you put it, all the good that it's possible to do, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. I'm sure you've enjoyed our insight into Jay Lieberman and his philanthropic efforts on our behalf and on behalf of everyone he supports. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.